Look at my arms. I'm like super pumped about that.
Today, I'm going to be sharing with you how I help my client lose over 32 pounds, drop 5 jean sizes, eating 500 calories more a day in just 90 days. Here's the deal. We did this by healing her gut. She came to me with chronic constipation and digestive issues. She would have to take up to 16 laxatives in one night just to have a small bowel movement. She had chronic food sensitivities, bloating, felt 6 months pregnant. On top of that, she was run down with chronic cravings, hormone imbalances, and she was even bedridden for parasites. Today, she's going to be joining me and I'm going to be sharing with you everything we did with her diet, training, nutrition, everything we did to heal her gut, boost her metabolism, get her eating more food, and losing 32 pounds without even trying. And I want to just say this. This is truly a video that you don't want to miss. If you're a woman 30 plus struggling with stubborn belly fat, chronic fatigue, you have thyroid issues going on, or even hormone imbalances going on, and you just feel so confused with everything on intermittent fasting, and do you need to cut all your carbs out, and what's the best approach, and where to even start? I'm going to be sharing with you how I have helped over 1,000 women lose anywhere from 5 to 40 pounds, overcome health challenges, the most struggling health challenges with gut and hormones and thyroid, and do it in a way to that they're able to transform their body eating more food and feeling their strongest, sexiest self.
Thank you so much for joining me today, Kylie, because I know your story is truly going to inspire people. For so many years, you struggled with chronic digestive issues, bloating, low energy, thyroid issues. We were on 16 plus laxatives and that would even make us go to the bathroom.
It's terrible. I know. It's awful. It's like my dinner, basically. A handful of pills.
What we're going to do today is I just want you to share. I'm going to be asking you some specific questions about your journey, things you've tried, struggled. We're going to go through everything with your diet, your training, how we got you to lose 32 pounds.
I know. Look at these
throw it up.
arms. Okay.
How many pant sizes are we down to? Eating 500 calories more?
No, literally, I'm like, I have to do the math. Right? I'm like 5 pant sizes, right? Almost 28, 29. Wow. I can't do backwards. The dyslexic kid over here. Oh. I was a full 28 and now I'm a super loose 25 without trying. Yeah. I think the thing for me that has been a great gift is that anytime in the past that I've gone through like trying to lose weight or, you know, trying to get my health in order, I would focus on the weight aspect of it and get really frustrated or just feel really gross. And I have a super, super insanely busy lifestyle. Like I just always have a huge part of my work. Like I'm always on the road and then I work in media. So I'm in front of people all the time and you want to be able to feel your best. So way back in the day, that focus used to be more on, oh, I feel my best because I'm in a certain jean size, or like I feel my best because of an appearance thing. And then like over the last couple of years, because of some crazy health stuff, I really focused on, well, I need to like get my hormones balanced. And well, I really want to be healthy from the inside out. And that next step for me, like I had tried everything. And for me, like probably even within my family, like we always felt like it just seems like everybody's always up and down with weight. And I knew that that didn't have to be my reality. And so for me, I was just like praying for answers. And I felt lost as far as like, I know how to crash diet. I grew up in like the era of crash diets. I grew up in the entertainment industry where that was the options given to me. And for me, I'm like, you know, I want healing and I really believe in renewing the mind. And I know that this is an area that I can get help with. I also really believe in wise counsel and investing in yourself in these areas. So for me, I was like deep dive on the internet, trying to find answers. I came across your Instagram. You had posted a video and your before and after. I was like, because you looked great actually in your before, but your after, I was like, this is the physique I thought I could never achieve. Like, I just want to feel feminine and toned and strong. And I want to do it before I have babies so that when I raise my kids, they don't have to have any of these mindsets that I had struggled with. I want full freedom for my family in every area. So anyways, long story short is when I had reached out to you and started working with you, it was in the height of a very, very busy season. So for me, it felt like the overwhelming factor of like jumping in to learning new food lifestyles, and then jumping into a fitness routine, the overwhelming part of that was dissipated by meeting with you. I did like the one-on-ones. Actually, I first started out in the group call, and then I reached out and was like, is there any way I could do the one-on-ones? I think I might be a little bit more successful. And that was a stretch for me investment wise. And it turned out to be like the greatest investment for me, because I'm telling you guys, like anybody watching this, it's worth the freedom that you get in your life. Because if you felt crappy for years and it takes 3 months with somebody who is already walking in the authority of that freedom and the revelation of like the knowledge that you're looking for, then like, why wouldn't you invest in being able to have the help in that area? That's what changed it for me. So for me, it was like totally changed my mindset on things. It brought so much freedom. It was the first time I could sit down and be like, figure out what worked with my body, figured out what didn't work with my body. I had, like you said, horrific digestion issues since I was little. It was like a thing in my family. Horrible digestion issues. I was diagnosed with celiac years ago and have just worked through like getting my hormones in order, getting my thyroid in order. So it's been this journey and a process. And I feel like working with you just brought that last like, forward momentum in the healing. And I've never like felt like I've gotten toned in the way that I feel toned without the mental struggle. So that for me was like, oh, sweet. I'm not even like trying to lose weight. I wasn't trying to lose weight during this whole time. I was really focusing on everything that you just told me to be doing. And then the side effect was like the weight melted off and I feel great.
Oh, I love it. Well, seriously, thank you so much for sharing that. And with your journey, you came to me for my 90-day transformation challenge. And that is more of, like I said, my group. But then around 2 weeks in, you reached out to me. You're like, Elizabeth, I am feeling so good, but I forgot to tell you that I have all of these gut issues and health issues going on. And after learning and kind of seeing how you work, I really want to address these with you. And that's when we started working one-on-one. And for you, I even told you day one, Kylie, like you were on low calories. You were like under 1,000 calories a day. You're eating 500 calories more now, and you're down to 32 pounds. But I told you our whole focus was to get you to a healthy body weight. We have to get you a healthy body first. That's addressing the thyroid, addressing all of these symptoms that you were having with your gut and your hormones. And then by actually addressing those, getting to the root cause, we were able to balance your hormones, lose the weight, transform our body in a sustainable way. And we're going to go through everything we did with Kylie's diet, her nutrition, how we got her off laxatives, everything with metabolism, fat loss when we're hitting midlife. So stay tuned to the end. But Kylie, would you share a little bit more about those key issues that you were facing, the chronic gut issues, the low thyroid, the yo-yo dieting, even you already know kind of the fact that we even were bedridden because we got a parasite back in the days, and then we got rid of it, but we felt like we had more different kind of bugs and pathogens in our body. So I would love to kind of hear a little bit more about those specific struggles.
Yeah. So years ago, I was diagnosed with having like riddled with parasites, which made sense. I traveled international. I was barefoot with horses my whole life, like a lot of probably why I had those problems. And so I worked very intentionally, really hard with some great people to get that clear. And then it showed, I work with a kinesiologist home, and it showed that they kind of came back up. And that was in the beginning of me working with you. And then kind of when I reached out and was like, I need some help. I want to live my life to the fullest. And so I actually got really educated working with you because you were able to break down like what's actually happening in the body and how you can get rid of something, but it's like kind of gross, but like the whole process of the way parasites are and how they can come back. And so for me, I was like, okay, well, I honestly, I think my key to success was I just trusted you. I just chose to be like, I'm going to trust you, and whatever you say I need to do, I'm going to do it and do it to the best that I can, being in a crazy, crazy lifestyle. And so because of that, my energy is amazing. I just did an insane week. Elizabeth knows this. Like I just had such an insanely busy week. I was in from like a matter of 4 days in 4 different states, 6 different cities, doing full events. And I had sustainable energy the entire time. I had no like weird cravings. My emotions were really balanced. I'm sleeping great at night. And all of this is cohesive. It's like all this holistic lifestyle, because when you get healing in these areas, it balances into everything else. My hormones, my thyroid was shot. And so I think just getting all of this in order really was a huge help for me.
Talk a little bit more about specific things that you were facing with the constipation or how it impacted you, or did you have cravings? Did you have low energy? How were your energy with your workouts? Kind of like your health, everything that you were feeling prior that you were working on, but not seeing changes with.
Yeah, totally. So I think for me, the really key is like, I traditionally in the past had always been like an all or nothing person when it came to nutrition and it came to fitness workouts. And then along the way, I just like lost the drive for that. And that's when I went searching for balance. And I was like, I need a lifestyle. I want whole body health and healing. And I want to enjoy feeling fit, but I also want to enjoy like the workouts that I'm doing and figure out how to make that adaptable. So in the past, I just would burn myself out in these stints. And then I think working with you, I felt honestly really cared for because I could come to you each week and be like, this week was rough in this way. Like I was tapped on my energy a little bit. I think because of X, Y, and Z, like she gives you your 3 wins and then like the 3 areas that you struggled. And for me, that was really helpful to be super reflective. And then I could take that going into the next weeks and adjust, which I had never done before. And so I think in those ways, Elizabeth like really helped me. You really helped me just like learn balance and learn that, you know, you can work with a crazy lifestyle and a crazy schedule, and it doesn't have to be the driving force. It gets to be the addition to your life, and then everything else falls into place. You feel better. I had horrible digestion my whole life. My mom put mineral oil in a sippy cup. Like it was just bad. And my whole family was always like that. And it's all I ever knew. And I think like, I just kind of thought that was something I was going to have to live with, especially because I travel all the time. And when you travel, like your digestion's a little messed up. I'm in places where people are usually providing catering for me. And so it's just like figuring out the balance and what's working on all that stuff. And Elizabeth was just like, you were just so straightforward on this is like jacking your colon up. Like, don't like, we are going to get you off of this. And I was like, oh, okay.
The laxatives, all the freaking, you were taking what, 8 to 10 Sennas a night, plus the magnesium oxide, what, 6 to 8 of those on top of that?
Yeah.
And that, the Senna turns your colon black, by the way, guys. And you need more and more and more and more. I was addicted to laxatives.
It's awful. It's like, yeah. And so now I'm like in the clear, which also that's a miracle within itself in 3 months. That's breaking like generational issues, which is what my goal was coming here. It makes me really excited. And I just think the body's amazing. And this entire process, I've just learned like, if we treat our bodies really well, like they're created to bring healing into our lives. And I experienced that. And I experienced that with the help of Elizabeth and the insight and the knowledge. And that was a game changer for me. The Parasite Cleanse, like had its ups and downs a little bit just because you're cleansing your body. You have die-off, you have all these things. You have like the normal things that pop up in life, but it's helpful. Again, like it helps me that I got to meet with you every week and be like, I don't know why I was like tapped on energy this week. And then you would be like, well, it's because you're doing da, 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 da. And then I'd be like, oh, wow. And it like brought freedom. I think it's really easy to be hard on ourselves sometimes. And to have that like insight of somebody who understands like the road that you're going on before you even understand it and is there to help you was instrumental for me. So yeah, that's a game changer. And like the fact that you could help me figure out keys while traveling never even crossed my radar. I'm not like, for some reason, planning and like that kind of stuff is like the most overwhelming part to me. And you made that really, really helpful and super easy.
Thank you. I think a lot of people, when it comes to weight loss, we look at, and all my women, hear me out. You need to hear this part, is we overlook stress. Because we get to a point where we're on very low calories, we're doing the extreme diets, we're run down, we're go, we're giving to everyone else, we're a busy mom, busy professional. And over time, our body actually adapts to that stress, just like low calories. And you almost feel like, I don't have the stress anymore, but you're so deep into it that you don't feel the stress anymore, but you feel all of the symptoms, all the gut issues, all the hormone imbalances. You're so stressed out. Like with you, you're so go. You're so stressed out, you couldn't poop. So I helped you retrain your bowels. We focused on stress management techniques. Like this wasn't just take a pill and you're fixed, guys. When we want weight loss, we have to get the body working as a whole. And we're going to go into exactly what we did with Kylie's plan, the Parasite Cleanse, everything we talked about, because she did have underlying gut dysbiosis that we needed to address to get to the root cause of her gut. But a little take on what she mentioned is, like I said, if we want weight loss, we have to look on the external. With her, every single week, like the biggest thing keeping her not pooping, having the bloating, the gut issues was her busy lifestyle. So we had to say, okay, for the week with where we're at, let's walk through what we can eat, what we can have with us. Do we have a refrigerator? What is simple? What agrees with our gut? What doesn't overwhelm us? You know, if we feel pressured to be out at a restaurant and drink, what can we do while we're in this healing phase so that you feel comfortable, confident, the travel and everything is stress-free, and you're able to make the nutrition like brushing your teeth on your healing journey. And I think that's a big thing. When the nutrition becomes easy and the stress starts releasing, we're taking a huge burden off of our body and allowing it to heal, because the stress is the biggest thing that wrecks the lining of the gut. That's where your immune system is. That's where you're absorbing, assimilating your nutrients and all of that. So I just wanted to throw that out there, and we're going to go into what she did, but I have a few more questions for you, Kylie. And I would just love to kind of know, I know you did, like you said, you tried a lot of diets prior, but is there any specific like doctor or anything that you tried a different route before coming to me?
I think they all kind of, yes, and it kind of built on each other. In 2020, I hit a point where I was like bedridden. It was horrible. And that's when I got diagnosed with celiac. Well, I got diagnosed with celiac a few years ago, but before that, but it had all kind of culminated in it was a big miss that like normal medical doctors didn't catch, that my thyroid was like zapped. And then obviously 2020 was an era where like everything was just off in general. And so being able to have access to certain things wasn't there. So that's when I found a like natural doctor that changed my life. She got my hormones like back in place to the best that you know, you kind of hit in different waves, got my thyroid back, and it was a process. So then that was like kind of in that era, and that carried me forward. I've worked with a kinesiologist who's like really helped in a lot of areas as well, kind of see supplementally when I feel like I need it. So as far as like doctors, those doctors were really, really helpful. Like they were also answer to prayers. And then I feel like they got me so far. And then that's when I was like, okay, now I feel like I've been very intentional on my hormones. I've been very intentional on, you know, X, Y, and Z. So what's that next step? And for me, it was like nutrition, fitness. That was so overwhelming. I would ask them like, because they tell you if you have allergies or certain things. But I didn't feel like I had a plan. And I knew for me, I'm like, I need a plan. I need somebody who like gets it as far as that. So then the fact that your whole thing was digestion, a huge part of that, that's what drew me to you. And I'm like, oh, that's what I need, because it doesn't matter working with all these guys who are amazing. I still extremely struggled with all of that. So that really like brought me to you. And I literally believed that protein was a myth. I was like, protein is like a construct by the American diet system to like get us to buy things. Like we don't actually need protein. My body can't digest it. Like blood type diet. Like I really like looked into all these other things. I tried all these other things. And then it's so crazy because I can tell how much more healed my body is because I am able to digest things. And now all like crave is protein. Like it's so weird. And I've never been like that in my entire life. And like, I'll be out with friends. I'm like, I really just can do like a steak or something right now. And they're like, what? Is Jesus coming back? Like, and so I think that that's just proof, like your body, if you allow it to heal, it heals, and you'll see that effect.
And what was that like one moment that you realized, hey, my journey is not just about the calories, it's my gut?
I came into like revelation over that probably slowly over the years. But then when I came to the place of, I need to like invest in this, which honestly for me, that was the biggest thing, because in this last season of life, that was just a little tighter than it has been in other seasons of life. And realizing like for me to operate in the fullness of what's in my heart, as far as like being fully who I am in my dreams, being fully who I am in my workplace, with my friends and with my family, like I want to feel healthy. Yeah. And to feel healthy right now, I need help. And I knew it was around the gut, and I was a little cautious just on investment piece. And so then that's when I found you. But I had taken like free consultations with a couple other like very popular people online, and it just didn't feel quite right. And then when I had my consultation with you, I was like, no, so this feels like she knows what she's talking about. And like, it just feels like a fit for me. And this feels like worth it. At the end of the day, I'm either going to be exactly where I am. Like it's impossible that I'm going to be worse, or I'm going to be better. So let's bank on like, hopefully I'll be better. And it changed my life.
Thank you for that. I think I told you too. I said, you are going to learn no matter what, you are going to learn so much because I'm an educator. I'm like, no matter what, you are going to learn so much from this program and just regardless. And I'm like, I'm so proud of you. I'm going to take everyone through and share with them what we did to help you heal your gut, eliminate constipation, balance your hormones, eliminate your cravings, lose 32 pounds in 5 pant sizes.
Yes, is that crazy?
500 calories more a day.
Well, the crazy thing was I wasn't like a chunker before. Like nobody would look at me and think like, wow, you need to lose weight. I just didn't feel good.
You felt inflamed is the word.
I felt so inflamed. I felt swollen all the time. And like proof that it was because everything just like melted off when I started focusing on healing the gut.
Oh, I love it. I'm going to take everyone through because I know everyone wants to hear about this. And then we have some more specific things. So stay tuned to the end because these are key bigs. I always save the best for last. Big takeaways. So first off, Kylie came to me, like I mentioned, she was on lower calories. She wanted weight loss. When we're on low calories, we have to realize that our body adapts to those calories. So if we go into weight loss, we go to, 1,000, 1,200 calories, 6 weeks, 12 weeks, depends on the person, their body. That is going to become your new maintenance. Same as the cardio, and then you have to make an adjustment. A lot of individuals like Kylie, your stress is through the roof. We got the hormone issues. We have all those symptoms, the cravings, the low energy, all running at us. Yet we keep pushing for more fasting. We keep pushing for more weight loss and it doesn't come. And we feel like we're broken. So we keep pushing harder and keep trying to find those loops. So what we did, like I mentioned, in order to get to a healthy body weight, we have to get to a healthy body. And we have to look at all of the symptoms that we're having. This is the first step in getting your health and losing the weight is we have to say, what is going on? With you, it was your thyroid. It was chronic constipation. If we're not moving our bowels, you're going to have fermentation. We can have an overgrowth of bacteria. We had the fact that we were bedridden for parasites and we didn't fully get those. You always said, you're like, Elizabeth, I feel like they came back. Like I know my body, they are back. And you may not know this. So I had 15 types of parasites. You know this. But what happens is it takes 90 days to kill the eggs. So I would do all of the stuff. I went the medical route in the beginning when I had the parasites and I would go through all the die-off, feel horrible. And then a month later, they would rehatch and be back and I'll be back to square one. So it's not just about do a cleanse and get things out and you're going to be healed. It's you have to really get to the root cause and create that environment, which we're going to go in. So our key things were thyroid. 20% of your thyroid conversions in your liver. So we got to get our liver working properly, our detox organs. The rest is with our gut microbiome. With constipation, 70% of your bowels is actually your bacteria. So we needed to rebuild the gut lining. We needed to get the good bacteria back in, start having those bowel movements. We had a lot of things in our diet that were triggering, even like gluten and dairy. Those trigger a lot of inflammation in the gut. And we needed to get those out for a good 90 days to give us that healing time because we had so much inflammation in the gut. Our hormones were going wonky. We had so much bloating all the time and constipation that I'm like, I told you, I'm like, let's do 90 days. Let's do a good healing. Let's correct the insufficiencies. Let's get through a good parasite protocol, reestablish everything. And then we could try them back out because you can cut all the food out. And if you don't have the right bacteria, you don't have the bowels moving, you don't get to the root cause, pathogens, mold toxicity, limes, like I have clients with all of the things. Then you're going to add the food back in. You're still going to be reactive. You're still going to be on the laxatives. So what we did specifically with you is we focused on what I call gut-focused fat loss. It's not, hey, if I don't have a gut issue, I don't go there. It's, hey, let's get you to a healthy place. So let's break it down into diet, supplements, and training what we did with you. Number one, we're going to start with our diet. We wanted to remove the common allergens that were inflaming us. So what we did is I taught you, because you had a busy lifestyle, what to eat, when to eat, the foods to eat to master our metabolism. People think we need to do 6-7 meals a day, but we even have something called our MMC pathway that cleans out bad bacteria in the gut. So that snacking all the time can make people with gut issues feel worse sometimes. So it's about, we built the plan of action for you, the food eating patterns. And I told you, okay, Kylie, as we heal your gut, our goal is we're going to start focusing on the food we're eating, getting the right training, which I'll go into a second, to help you build muscle, lose fat as we're starting to hit midlife soon. And our whole goal is to be building lean muscle and building your metabolism. I want you to start feeling hungry again. Start, feeling like you're strong in the gym, hitting PRs, feeling energized from your workouts, not inflamed and run down. Right. So Slowly, we were able to bring your calories up as we were able to dial in on the stress, the sleep, the hormones, get your hunger cues back up. And we were just checking in each week, progress pictures, measurements. All of a sudden, you're holding your pants out, and I'm going to put the picture up here, and
Yeah.
you could stick another human body or 2 human bodies in there, and you're like,
Oh,
look, I'm
I
down
know.
32 pounds. And I'm like, Kylie.
I know.
And that was like a big thing, is we focus on building the metabolism, but that doesn't always come. If the stress isn't there, if we're not moving our bowels, if like our gut microbiome runs so many different things in the body with our anxiety, our stress, absorption, assimilation of our nutrients. If you have leaky gut going on, guys, your villi on your gut lining, this is your gut, it's your lining. This is where you absorb and you assimilate your nutrients in between these crevices. If you're on a lot of gluten, dairy, high stress, antibiotics, parasites, these get blunt. You don't absorb, assimilate your nutrients. You may have anemia. You may have, thyroid, Hashimoto's, then the livers. And when all of those are going on, we don't focus on those. We just still focus on fat loss. But I am here to share the word. By focusing on these things, we can get you here. Now,
Totally.
we expanded your diet. You're eating more food than ever. We focused on healing the gut so that we were able to heal the lining so that we're less reactive to the food. So we were able to add the food in while increasing the calories, while healing the gut. Now let's talk about supplements for healing the gut, for balancing hormones, for cravings, for weight loss. Then we'll go to our training, and then we got questions. I just like to hit it all. So with your supplements, because I explained this all to you too, it wasn't pre-workouts, BCAAs, and energizers. I told you, I'm like, I want us off the laxatives, having bowel movements. I want you feeling energized without your addiction to your caffeine pill. You're like, Elizabeth, I need your caffeine pill, right?
I know, I did. Yeah. I was like, it used to like be my survival strategy.
You're like, can I keep my caffeine pill? If anything, I'm like, okay, we'll keep you here now, but our goal is to get our energy to where yes. So I'm like, these things that we feel like we need because we feel so bad, I don't want us to need them as a crush. Your body is meant to heal. So with your supplement routine, I got you on none of the bodybuilder workouts. I'm sorry, supplements at all. We focused on a specific, I got you on more of a magnesium L-theanate to help with stress. Mm-hmm. It's the most bioavailable form in the body to help with your sleep, to help with your cortisol and anxiety throughout the day. I got you on a specific probiotic and yeast strain to actually start healing your mucosal lining so you're able to absorb and assimilate your nutrients. And the other bacteria that I got you on my YouTube watch, don't take probiotics, because not everyone should take probiotics and no one should take the same probiotics because everyone's body is different. I got you on one that wouldn't overgrow bad bacteria. I got you more on a spore base so that we're able to get the good bacteria back in. We're going to start getting daily bowel movements moving as we're healing the gut. But we did it in a way too, because probiotics, as I mentioned, if you go too hard, too fast, and you have a lot of leaky gut or bad bacteria, you could have more die off. So we really focused on a good month of that healing before we even went into rebuilding and repopulating all of this. Yeah. And then with the supplements too, so we are focusing on the stress. I added in some adaptogen herbs for our stress and our sleep too, and hormone balancing. Yeah. We focused on high omega-3 diet to help with inflammation, anxiety, brain. We set up our meals so that you were full and satiated at your meals, sticking to 5 key ingredients so that anywhere you were going, it was easy for you. And we made these small tools. And then that month 2 and 3, because this is the key of gut healing, guys. We supported her. We supported her liver for her thyroid so that her thyroid conversion, everything starts getting better. And that month 2 and 3, we got her into a parasite protocol to get to the root cause of what was going on. When we have bacteria, yeast, a lot of times I mentioned if we don't get things like the biofilms, which encase the parasites on the intestinal lining, they can come back through. If we try to throw a random cleanse at something because we think we have a parasite, but over here we have a bacteria or a different virus or H. pylori going on, you're just throwing things at the flame. So you have to get to the root cause. We addressed the exact thing that we had going on, and we did it slow and steady to minimize Herx reactions, to make sure the liver and everything in our bowels were moving. And we did it in a way so that we were having minimal to no reactions on the cleanse. We were able to continue to lose weight, cravings gone, daily bowels, and on this healing journey. And it's just so important because when we heal the gut, we just throw all the colostrum and we throw all the probiotics and the fermented foods. But if you're a histamine girl, then bone broth, fermented foods, even avocado can make you worse. And then if you're allergic to dairy, which that's me over here, sometimes certain specific probiotics and colostrum, that can get you. And then we go all towards the protein powders and stuff, which half the time the gums are in there that make you bloated. So it's, we guess. And it's not even about that. We focused on whole foods and the right supplements for your body. And that was a big thing. And then final aspect, training. And then I got the questions and answers for you. Training. We train smarter versus harder. So with you, when you left for vacation, I made you 20-minute band only workouts to do while you're away so that less stressful. We utilize steps. And then when we were home, 45 minutes to an hour maximum. I customized my workouts to my clients so that you're able to do it home or gym base. And we're focusing on building muscle, losing fat, feeling strong. And by cutting down your workouts, doing less time and making it fit, what were the changes that you saw in your physique coming from, doing more in the past and always thinking we need to do cardio to get results and now making this huge switch to steps and strength?
I feel like my energy was just like so much better. But as far as like even my body, I wish I could give you like a full body preview, but I feel like I've just looked so much leaner and longer, which the way traditionally in the past, I feel like when I've just like tried to hit the gym hard or do like intense HIIT workouts or like things that I all thought I was supposed to do, I felt horrible and my body just felt like it kept expanding. Like my legs just would feel like, I'm like, man, I feel like I'm getting so thick and I just don't feel good. So working with you, I was able to always just express like, this is how I'm feeling. Or like, this was what my time frame is. And your energy, your vibe, and then your knowledge and being able to like help intersect it with my life made everything easy. Like nothing was overwhelming and it never felt like a have to. It's like, oh, I get to do this because I feel better. And I'm like, for me, it was every week seeing results, which I never which I need to catch up on my before and after pictures, but my before and after pictures did really help me because I always dressed pretty conservative. And so it felt so cringy to me to like this idea of taking before and after pictures, but it helped me see my progression. And I was like, whoa, like I had no idea like the leaps and bounds you could make in just a week, let alone like when you go back and see the ones from a couple weeks. So that was like really helpful for me. And I think I have gotten so many, I'm looking at my arms.
I know. I'd like to tell, how did these results with everything impact your confidence? Because
I'm like wearing things I would never have worn before, which has been really fun for me. Like, I mean, it sounds like so silly, but I'm like, I would have never worn just like a spaghetti strap tank top that's like silky. And, I just feel like for me, it's like when you feel good and like you feel good about your shoulders and you feel good about your arms. And I talk with my arms all the time. So I'm like, oh, wow. Like, I feel like I can dress really feminine or really fun with like a little bit of edge differently than I ever have. Or like I have an event tonight and I'm going to wear like a cute silk dress that I would have never have worn before. And now I'm like, I know I can wear it and I don't even have to wear like shape control with it because I feel so good and I look great. And so for me, it was like, it totally just made me feel, I've always been a confident person, but it made me just fall in love with the body the Lord gave me. And I don't know, like I literally like love my arms. I'm like, damn.
I know, I always see you touching them now. And
I'm like, okay. It doesn't even feel like it's been hard work, but it's because I talk with my arms. So I see video of myself all the time. And so now I'm like, oh wow, like I can see the results. Or like my abs. I'm like, okay, I haven't been trying to get abs, but I have abs. Like, I think that's been the great part of all of this is like, I haven't put my focus in like, I'm going to do this and the result is going to be this. It's like, no, I literally did the focus in healing my body, and the healing my body brought these great results that I feel really, really good in. That was the aspect of freedom for me. And I needed that. My brain needed that. I needed to figure out how to navigate my nutrition in that way. And for me, it's like, I have big goals coming up in my life that I want to be able to feel my best in. And I want to be able, like, I'm very vision driven. Looking down the road when I'm a mom one day and I'm a wife one day, like I'm going to be a better mom and a better wife when I feel healthy, when I am healthy, and training up my family in that way. So for me, it was all just like, a game changer, an investment in my present and my future that I'm so incredibly grateful for in every way.
I'm so proud of you. And I know you mentioned a little bit about, like, we mentioned the confidence and everything, but what were those big shifts that you had? Like, I call them your big aha moment, like breakthroughs
Uh-huh.
that you didn't even expect you were going to hit working with me.
I think for me, it was like I took away the goal of like a number on the scale. And I think when I hit, like I got back from a trip and I literally travel all the time. And so traveling all the time in the past, like I usually come home feeling so inflamed. And I remember like in the process of this, I was like, I don't feel inflamed. That's like a really big deal for me. And then I came back and I had jumped on the scale and I was like, whoa, like I hit a number that I always had wanted for years. I was a teenager. I grew up in the entertainment industry. And so they were very like clear on some expectations that I had to meet, and I could never meet them because it was like a rock in the road. If you focus on the rock, you're going to hit it. If you focus on the road around the rock, you're going to miss the rock. So for me, I always focused on the rock and the road. And so for years I had this like thing that felt so unachievable to me. So like a huge aha was like, oh wow, I focused on healing my body. I focused on like healing my gut, and everything else fell into place. I hit a goal that I never thought I could achieve. I'm wearing a loose size of what I would consider a really small pair of jeans. I feel great in my own skin, like, and it only brings that much more confidence to every other realm of my life. And it makes life like so much more fun when you feel good about yourself, when you're feeling healthy. My like menstrual cycle improved night and day of a difference. Like that was huge.
Say more. What did you notice difference with your cycle just through diet and hormone balancing?
That was the game changer. I've always been just very heavy, and like it balanced like incredibly. I've always been somebody who's been extremely bloated, takes on a lot of water weight, and feels like a cage fight in my uterus. And that helped. Like I just felt like the balance, everything just felt much more like balanced and normal when I hear about like some of my friends and how they experience their cycles. And I was like, oh, wow. Or like the energy, I'd have such low energy dips. And I feel like my energy is way more even keeled. My sleep is so much better. So all of it just kind of adds up. So for me, it was like my ahas were really the fact that like, oh, if you take the focus off of what I had put clout in before, and I'm literally like, I'm valuing my body, I'm healing my body, I'm focusing on the things that are long-term. I think that was it. I've always focused short-term my entire life, which that's what causes like yo-yo. I live a life that's full of events. And so I'd always be like looking at that next event, have to fit in this next dress, have to do this, this, and this. And so for me, I was like, oh, like when I took the focus off of that and I'm starting to think long-term for my life and literally made it that much bigger, where for me, like I wanted to focus on what kind of mom am I going to be in the future? Like that was a huge aspect for me because I knew I wanted healing in this area because I could see just unhealthy thought patterns in like the generations in my family. And I know that there's freedom for that. Like there's always freedom available. And so I'm like, well, I want to walk in this freedom for me because I'm really excited to raise kids one day that feel fully healthy, confident in who they are, and where we can pay attention to making sure our bodies are healed and healthy and whole. So that for me was like a huge shift that I had never approached health in, that then I think I was able to achieve my present results.
And you took that. So you went, when we're working together, and we're wrapping it up soon, guys, I promise. But when we're working together, you went home to your family and they haven't seen you in a while and you almost inspired them. Can you share a little more about that? I love these.
Yeah, I did. I travel a lot. And so I had seen my mom. I hadn't seen her in weeks. And my dad actually had said something. My dad's like, he's like, you look tiny. And I was like, really? Because you see yourself every day. So he's like, you look tiny. And then my mom, like, I brought my mom. I was at an event in another state. And so we brought her and she was like, I just kept watching you on stage and like, your arms look the smallest they've ever looked, but in like a really good way. You look so good. And she just kept commenting on things. And then I shared with her my experience. And because she's my mom, she's been a part of my life in all of this. And so for her, she was like, wow, like, I just don't believe something like that would work for me. And I said, that's kind of how I felt, because my mom's like, as you're older and like you're a female, you're going through different stages of life, hormones change, everything's different. And so you're always like wanting to feel your best. And I think my mom looks amazing, but we always want to feel our best. And so she had made a comment. She's like, I just don't know if that would work for me. Like, I don't know, because my age and like hormones are different.
Yeah.
I said, to be honest, like I didn't know if it would work for me either, but I knew I couldn't felt worse than where I was. So for me, it was worth giving it a shot. And my grandma, I went and saw my grandma on another trip, and my grandma was like, I had seen her earlier in the summer, and then I saw her coming into fall, and she's like, you never looked like you needed to lose weight, but like, I can really tell, like, you look like you've like slimmed down. And I was like, yeah, a lot, actually. Let me tell you about it. And I think for me, it was the freedom. It was like, I didn't feel guilty if I was at my cousin's birthday and they were all eating birthday cake, and I'm gluten-free. So they had like gluten-free options. In the past, I would be like, oh, I really shouldn't like eat this. I was like, no, actually, I feel really free that if I want to eat this, I know that I can. I also know I feel really good when I'm not eating dairy. And I know I've been really working on healing my gut, and I'm loving the way that that's feeling. Like, I just brought this different sense of freedom. It's like, takes the guilt away. It takes like the have to, or the shame. I think so many people have such a imbalance and a shame when it comes to nutrition or our own bodies. And so for me, that was what this was. It was years of some huge up and downs as a kid. I just like started adolescence really early. And so you just become aware of like your body changing so differently. And then being in the entertainment industry so young, like your energy is expected to be at a certain level, your physique's expected to be at a certain level sometimes. And you kind of just get thrown in the system where there's a lot of expectations that you even put on yourself. And you don't realize the shame that comes with that. And then that creates really unhealthy eating habits and really unhealthy exercise habits that creates these yo-yo cycles that I'm sure a lot of us have experienced. So for me, it was the pursuit of healing my gut, but I want to heal my mindset. I know that there's freedom available for me in this, and that's what I'm pursuing. And that's really what I gained out of it. And then it's just became such a joy where I'm like, oh, like our 3 months went like that. And I was like, well, man, I would love to see like, what does that look like? What does that look like after? And not because of a fear of, oh my gosh, I'm gonna regress. I'm like, no, I'm locked and loaded. Like my entire life has changed. I'll like never go backwards. I'll only move forwards. Now I feel really more excited to be like, oh, like now I'm feeling really healed, and I'm going to continue feeling healed. I would love to like have fun fine tuning some things. What does that look like to fine tune some things? And so what I appreciated about you is that you're like, oh yeah, we'll get you there. Like that's not going to be a problem. Let's continue in the progress that you're in, because I can look so future. And then you're like, let's go back to present. Like, let's figure that out. What's the goal here? And so for me, that was like super instrumental and helpful.
I love it. I told you, we're a game planner. We always have a game plan. And that's the thing, is we get so stressed out because we look so into the future or we're in the past. And you said it so powerfully. It's, the biggest thing that will keep people from reaching their goals is themselves. It's your mindset. It's, I had everything fail on me. I spent so much money. I spent another college degree with my health, all of it. But I look at it as, hey, this is a growth mindset. I'm now able to heal people. My thyroid got messed up. Oh, now I know everything on thyroid to help people with thyroid issues. Boom. Yeah. And that runs your metabolism so much. So now we're keeping you in the loop with the doctor and, dialing into that, because as we heal our gut, maybe that will change,
Totally.
and the adjustments in that. So it's the biggest thing to keep a person back is their mindset of, I'm never going to be able to heal, I'm broken, or looking so far in the future and getting so stressed out and overwhelmed that they don't even start or they quit just because they're looking at the wrong progress, which is the number on the scale. With you, we looked at the health factors, and by focusing on the health and every week dialing into the wins and the changes we're feeling, we all have those weeks where we start feeling so good, and we're human. We forget what it feels like to feel bad. And then we're like, hey, Elizabeth, I want even more results. And I'm like, hey, we're off of all the laxatives, pooping 2 to 3 times a day. Yeah, we're down.
That actually was a huge key that you told me, because it was pretty early on, and we were starting to like go lower on the amount of laxatives I was taking. And I mean, y'all, like chronic digestion issues in my family. So like that's all I've ever known. And I have gone 8 days being constipated before, like horrible stuff that's like, it's bad and like awkward to talk about, but it's necessary to know that there's healing available. And so for me, it was such an incredible gift that I will never forget. Like Elizabeth had told me to like go down a certain amount, and I like didn't, because I honestly didn't believe it was possible. And so I don't even remember how I communicated it, but all I remember is like, I just remember your face, and you were like lovingly intense. And you said, hey, you're like, if you don't believe that you can get off this, like, you won't. It's all going to come down to what you believe. And if you believe that your body can heal itself, and you like trust the process of your body healing itself, then it's going to be able to release things. Then it's going to be able to move into that. And then she like went ahead and gave me like the full plan. And for me, I really believe, I believe in power of the words. I get invited into places to talk about the power of her words. And so when she said that, it was a huge check for me of like, oh my gosh, she's right. Like, I don't actually believe that my body can do what it's created to do. And that's a wrong belief. That's not true. Like, our bodies are powerful. Like, the Lord made them to be able to be healing in that way. So for me, that was probably a pivotal early on that changed going into the entire process, and realizing like the power of my words. So I literally would speak over my colon, my digestion, because I really love declarations, and I would speak like healing over it, positivity over it, instead of like feeling gross, bad, and down. And those are the kind of keys along the way, but I'll just never forget. That was like a game changer, and like kind of a check of, you notice a blind spot for me. And then I was able to eliminate that blind spot.
I can't believe that you remember that, because like I told you, it's when you have the chronic constipation and then you add in all the laxatives, and then you need more and more and more, and then you get scared. I would wake up in the middle of the night. I told you this. I'm like, girl, if I forgot my laxative, I would wake up at 3 a.m. to take the laxative, or else I would be afraid I didn't go to the bathroom. And it was so bad. But I told you, I'm like, you're on so many. This is not good for us. But if you don't feel good about cutting you off, you're going to get constipated and back up. So we came up with a game plan of natural modalities. We used a little bit of castor oil packs too, since we were doing things, self-massage, all of that, so that we would naturally be able to wean you off in a calm way. But I told you straightforward, I'm like, if you think you need that,
like, she was like, so like, it was like a smile that had intensity behind it. And I was like, yeah, okay.
I look sweet, but I'm always straightforward, because I just
you. I needed to hear that.
I love it. Well, I want to wrap everything up. I would love if someone was in your shoes, they were struggling with all the things, the gut, the cravings, the hormones, what would be the biggest advice from your healing journey that you would want to share with them?
Yeah, I would say if you're struggling in any way, because we've all been there in different aspects, that there is no greater level of freedom available for you than being able to have help in that way to heal our bodies. And I can say from personal experience, getting this aspect in line for me, the overflow of that has affected every area of my life. And our bodies are always going to be with us. Like, literally, until the day that we go home to heaven, like, we have these bodies that we are created to take really good care of. And so for me, it's like, my biggest hesitancy was the financial piece. And I think there's a lot of people right now, and especially with where the economy's at, things like that can feel really overwhelming. And so I had to step back and go, okay, well, what is my health stuff? How am I feeling? How long have I been trying to do this on my own? What can I like really see that I can reallocate to invest in this? Because if this piece is in order, I just knew if I could get healing in this area, mind and in my body, then I'm setting myself up for success. I'm setting my future family up for success, because I'm going to be able to show up fully in every area. And so for me, that was huge. So I would just say, like, if you're feeling like confused, if you need a game plan, if you're struggling and you've done really well, even working with doctors, but you know that there's more and there's that next step, it is worth the investment in yourself, because you're setting the rest of your life up for success. And if you can get somebody who's ahead of you, but can see you where you're at and navigate those blind spots that you might carry, it's the greatest gift that you will ever give to yourself. And I would highly recommend just to go all in. If you end up working with Elizabeth, I just trusted her. I made a decision. I'm going to trust her. I'm seeking somebody who's a professional in their field, who has a key that I haven't gotten yet. And I had the confidence that by the end of my 3 months, I'm going to have some keys that are going to be helpful moving forward in my life. And it worked. It did. And I'm literally living proof, arms, abs, feeling good, energy, sleeping well.
Pooping twice to 3 times a day.
And that's a miracle within itself. And I just think I'm always going to the Lord for help. I prayed for prayer in this area. I prayed for help, and I found Elizabeth, and she was a big answer to my prayers. So I think that these kind of things are key, is that when we need help and we're seeking it, those who seek truth will find it. Truth will intersect your path. And so I 10 out of 10 can't recommend working with Elizabeth more.
Well, I'm not going to ask the next question is if you would recommend my program, because like that answers it.
I highly recommend it.
Well, I want to thank you so much for sharing your story today. And it just shows you guys this beauty is down 32 pounds, not focusing on anything but her health, her hormones. You don't have to have gut issues to heal the gut. You could have all these other symptoms going on, the cravings and all of that. Get your health back. Focus on you. You can heal, and you better write this beauty's name down, because Kylie, you are going to be on stages. You are going to help so many people. So be on the lookout for this beauty. Because
Thank you so much.
I feel that from you.
Thank you. Well, I just appreciate you letting me share my story and being with you, helping me on this journey. I'm excited to even just see how it continues, because I know that this is only the beginning. So thank you so much, Elizabeth. And I can't wait to hear all of your guys' stories, because I know they're going to be really good.
Yeah.